I decided that I want to get a little bit deeper into the nature of reality since I recently spoke about what I think life is and consciousness and what death means. Um, and basically just focusing on like the self, right? But what is reality? Um, I think much like in my previous video where I was like, oh, everything's frequencies and consciousness is just a frequency that we tap into like radio. What if, and this is something that I think is being revealed both in the scientific community and has always been known in the spiritual community for thousands of years, but I believe that reality is, to quote a nursery rhyme, life is but a dream. What if we're living in a collective dream? Because obviously there's the simulation theory, right? There's the idea that like, oh, well, in theoretical physics, you know, when you get down to the subatomic level, you find binary code, like ones and zeros, as if we're living in a simulation, right? But what if the simulation isn't, oh, we're living in a giant computer thing or whatever? What if it's literally a dream? You know, we can't use the same tools that we have in this waking life to go into the dreams that we're having while we're asleep to dissect whether or not it's reality or what the nature of it is. So what if the reason why things feel so trippy and weird sometimes with like synchronicities or, you know, like things just like manifesting with the right amount of will and the right amount of practice and dedication and faith. What if that's just a way to shift frequencies within the dream, and kind of like how lucid dreaming is a thing? You know, I'm not saying that like I think it's possible that you can warp this dream reality that we're living in to the point where you can go outside and fly, but there are many things that we can do that push what we believe to be possible as a human being. You know, like a lot of what Da Vinci did with like art and his inventions, and then there's, you know, intellects like Tesla and Einstein who were able to conceive of things in ways that most people just couldn't. Yeah, and musical geniuses, etc., etc. It's really just like tapping into frequencies and learning how to truly navigate this dream that we're living in. So what if life is just a dream and we're living in a collective dream that we're all having at the same time because we want to experience what it's like to be a subjective being interacting with other subjective beings? Like, what if the oneness of the source that we come from, the conscious source, the light, whatever you want to call it, God, whatever, what if it was just so bored being just one thing that it decided to create the dream of the reality that we live in now, this universe, and create subjectivity, create all these different types of life, create all these different astral bodies to interact with. So you have the macro existence of reality, with stars and planets and galaxies. And the funny thing is that the further out you zoom and the further in you zoom into reality, the more things kind of sort of parallel each other. Like the way that protons, neutrons, and electrons interact almost mirror solar systems and satellites and how they interact with each other. And then it's just crazy how the most complete picture that we have of the universe to date is it looks like all these crazy webs and lines of all these nebulas and clusters of super clusters of galaxies, billions and billions of stars. And when you look at that, it looks like the neurons inside of a brain. So what does that tells me that, like, we're living inside of a mind that's dreaming right now, dreaming all of this. And that mind is probably what we are, because that's just what we were able to kind of see or conceive of and figure out through our science and technology. But like, when you pair it with Eastern mysticism, when you pair it with all these like mythologies and tales that we've told ourselves like over campfires for thousands of years, it starts to make a lot more sense that the inner world and the outer world, as above, so below, everything is just a reflection of everything. So it's almost like we're living in like a mirror universe where, like, the further you zoom out and the further you zoom in, everything's just a reflection of each other. And things might look slightly different because our perspective is just so used to the reality that we're living in, the human experience. But detaching ourselves from the human experience, we could kind of just see these fractals, these shapes. And in psychedelic trips, you could almost register what is really going on. And it's really not just a visual thing, it's mostly through feeling. So reality is a dream that's fueled by like intuitive feeling and energy and the exchange of energy, because there's no energy that's created or destroyed. It's only exchanged. The same energy that's in our bodies right now is the same energy that was in the bodies of dinosaurs and plants and all these other things that have been gone for millions of years. Everything is recycled. The matter that makes us up also is literally all recycled. Nothing comes from nothing, because when you break down the word nothing, no thing, it's still referring to a thing, no thing. So it's just our perception of no thing. But in order for us to refer to nothing, we're still referring to something. So I think the absence of something is still something. So I know I'm getting a little bit off track with that, but I just wanted to get a little bit into what I think reality is. Life is but a dream. That's why life is what you make it. And even though there is a level of just pure experience, like there's certain, like we can't control other people, and there's certain experiences that we're just meant to have, whether we want to have them or not. We have the ability and the freedom to navigate through all these things and use the lessons that we take from these experiences to then really make life what we want it to be. And so with that said, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a good day.